Welcome everybody to the Tuesday, May 17th Town Council meeting. So let's open the meeting. Who would please join me by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. And if we could have just a moment of silence, please. All right, thank you all very much. Remind everybody, please keep your phones on mute. So let's move on to item number 2, please. The adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 3rd, 2022. I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the regular meeting minutes held on May 3rd, 2022.
Second. Moved and seconded. Were there any comments or questions, council? Everything look good? Very well. Let's move on to the vote. All those in favor of the adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 3rd, 2022, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 3rd, 2022 now passes. Thank you very much. Let's move on to number 3, presentations, congratulations, and introductions. Catherine, if you would, please.
Yes, I'll be very brief.
Thank you.
On economic and community development activities, the State of Maine Department of Transportation Planning Department and the Construction Project Management Department met with the town regarding the village partnership and how the time frames would be affected or could be affected by that project. There was a lengthy discussion of different alternatives that might be available, but in the end, the construction personnel and the planning personnel understood that if the town was to look at changes, the construction part and the design work would have to stop at that point and then wait for the town to come up with the items that it would be going forward with in the village partnership. So DOT would shut down our project, leaving the money because the money is designated, and they were checking on that to make sure it would stay with our project. And then the village partnership project would then proceed forward if that was approved to do so. And then we would go back to the construction project. But at this time, DOT indicated that if they continued with the planning of the project and design work, that pulverizing the roadway was not part of their plan because they did not have the money. This had started out as a tug and mill project, and that they wanted to work with the town. But we needed to check on some details on what grants would be available, how this would be done, what would be the logistics to shut down the project for a while and then start it up again if the town did choose to go to the planning initiative with the village partnership. So there's a list of items that the construction part of the DOT we're going to look at, a list of items that the planner was looking at, and then I have 2 items I'm looking at. It looks like the planner will be able to come in and make a presentation to the town council at the June 7th meeting. So that would be at your next regular meeting after this. So that is the update as of this point. The other projects are all moving forward with paperwork and reports being filed as best as possible. And so we will hopefully get some amendments for our grants again. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. So let's move on to public hearings. Number 4, please, Catherine, if you would.
Public hearing, ordinance 22-05. The town of Pittsfield hereby ordains to accept all tax year payments of Robert S. and Susan M. Snyder, including interest and lien costs for the property at Johnson Flat Road, map 1, lot 8, the town having acquired said property as a result of automatic foreclosure of a 2019 property tax lien, recorded in the Somerset Registry of Deeds on July 21st, 2020, at Book 5575, page 88, which matured on January 21st, 2022. The town council further authorized the town manager to execute a municipal quitclaim deed releasing the town's interest in said property to Robert S. and Susan M. Snyder.
All right, thank you, Catherine. This is a public hearing, so as such, I will open up for public comment. I will start with anyone in the audience that wishes to speak for or against this ordinance 22-05. No one here. We have no one online.
Correct.
No comments whatsoever. Council, any comments to the affirmative or negative? Very well. Hearing none, we shall go to a vote. All those in favor of ordinance 22-05, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Ordinance 22-05 passes. Thank you very much.
So on that motion, who would have made the motion? Pete, you would make the motion?
Yes.
Okay. And who would like to second that? Okay,
I'll make it
great.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to reports. Council committees, Finance Committee,
We haven't met yet.
no report. Ordinance Committee,
Haven't met.
no report. Thank you. Recycling Committee, no report. Do we have Board Committee updates by Town Council's Manager, Catherine? Anything?
Yes, very briefly. The planning board will be meeting on May 23rd, next Monday, 7 o'clock p.m. They have a full agenda of projects, and the recreation committee is in the process of scheduling a meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And that was the Planning Board and the Rec Committee?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Town Manager's report. Catherine, if you will, please.
Yes, on the town manager's report, I will be brief. We have the new and small town manager's report for the town council, streamlined version for town council, and then for the recording purposes that I was required to do, and for the citizens, I'll have the longer version. And so it's very important that we remember the district public hearing for AD 53, our school district, as a reminder, only for importance, will take place on Thursday, May 19th, 6:30 p.m. in the Warsaw Gym. This will be the hearing, and then the second part of the project or process is the referendum vote that will take place in June. Number 2, very important also, a notification to Pittsfield Waterworks from Northern Lights regarding testing result for Legionnaires. All of our associates advised that they were informed by the hospital that a routine water sample that they collect for their own purposes that tested positive for Legionella. And that's spelled Legionella. It is a bacteria that can be present in water and poses a respiratory health risk for those that inhale or aspirate water that is contaminated. It can cause a serious illness releasing pneumonia. It's not common for this to be detected, and when it is, it usually seems to be in large facilities like hotels, hospitals, other large buildings. At the water treatment plant, we provide a robust chlorine residual of about 1.5 parts per million, which results in immediate disinfection as well as maintaining a detectable amount of chlorine throughout the entire system. So the morning that this happened, there was a chlorine residual of 0.14 parts per million at the hospital. So all of our associates, our contract water operator, went out, got testing kits, and went and tested around town. They had no issues from the testing. Everything was fine. The hospital tested within the hospital and found that a majority of their tests did come back positive, so they were putting in some chlorine to deal with that situation. And so we're going to take our tests, which were tested locally here by the staff, and take them to a professional sampling location that's down in Yarmouth and have them double check to make sure that everything is all right. But they did find that the test that's done just outside the hospital by the town found to be negative. Within the hospital was found to be positive. We've been very fortunate we haven't had this issue before, but it does happen in large facilities. And so all these results are being sent to the Department of Health and Human Services, and they did approve the sampling test. Number 3, just so citizens know, in case you do see the area along the guardrail across from Puritan, if you're in Fenway Park and look across, you'll see it looks like part of the retaining wall is gone, and it is. So the state has indicated that they will be in with some steel to drive that in to hold up the side of the road. It's not near the 2 large culverts, so that's good. And they are working on that project right now. There'll be a lot more details shortly. But as soon as that happened, Public Works went over and called DOT, and DOT came right over. They were very helpful. I guess the area that had collapsed in, that section dated back to the early 1900s, and no work had been done. So we're fortunate that nothing had happened before that date. I gave you a list of Public Works schedule for work for May and June. And obviously we'll need to put the striping of the crosswalks on there too. Always lots of public works projects to do. The speed trailer has been a wonderful success with citizens calling Public Works, the transfer station, calling the town office, how happy they are to have it. In fact, they wanted it on their road, on more roads than we could take it to. But it does need to go away, so it goes to St. Albans on May 23rd, so they can use it for a couple of weeks. The town employees, specifically the police chief and I, attended a Zoom session for Somerset County on the dispatch software upgrade. The other town managers and police chiefs were present, along with the company that is proposed to be the vendor by Somerset County. Frankly, it was a little confusing session. All of the towns wanted more information so that we could see exactly what type of bill we would get, what would be involved, how it would be broken down. So we're supposed to get a detailed information and breakdown that would be in the bill that will explain the services and what the cost would be. And then once we have that, a meeting could be scheduled with the council, with Somerset County, or anyone that you would like to talk about this. Number 7 is the airport hangar, apron, and taxiway project updates. We did get a response from HTA, which is Boyle Tanner, our engineers and insurance company. They said they would like to sit down with the town and the other parties to discuss the issues with the engineering work and the bid process that went amiss, and determine how more funds could be made available. We are rescheduling the airport project for the planning board meeting because some of the paperwork from HTA was not completed in time, so we have to redo that. But it's not a difficult process, but it will need to be done. I would note that the computer services managed services onboarding has been quite interesting with Trio. All the new computers are set up. We're all set to go with Trio. The staff asked for some training, which was included in the package, and the training that we received was not sufficient at all. But in the meantime, our assessor, as of yesterday, contacted the town and told us that in the program that we're going to, the upgrade for Trio, that mobile homes do not program through for the tax commitment. So there's no tax bill created for any mobile home in their 60 towns. So they're encouraging every single town not to move to the upgraded program. So we're right here in the middle. The program we have now is malfunctioning. If we go to the new program, it malfunctions. So I think all the towns have got to get together and get this resolved, because this is not good at all.
Is this not a state-driven program also?
It's a state-driven program, so the state will be called too. I mean, there's only 2 vendors, I think there were 3 vendors that the state certifies to be able for the towns to use all of the state permits and licenses to process them for the citizens and the businesses, and this is one of them, the one that has the major number of clients. And so the state is part of this process. So now that we've been notified of this, as of yesterday afternoon, that was kind of a shock. We were getting ready to go over to the new programming at the end of the week. So we have called up, asked some questions, put in another ticket, and said we need more information on the options, exactly what's going on, how is this being resolved. So I will keep you updated because we can't go forward, we can't go backwards. Right now there's malfunctions. Sounds like there's going to be more malfunctions in another program. So we are tracking everything as best as we can. And then you wanted some items changed, so I have changed those items. So we'll have different reports done in a different way with more or less information, because we do have a lot of changes in different people on the council, so you have different items that you would want. So I will make all those changes and take care of those items, and I'll give you a write-up on that. And so you have a schedule, as I noted, from Public Works on their project. I know there were some concerns about different items. Public Works could work all day and night and still, there'll be lots of projects to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cal. Just a couple of quick questions, if I may, please.
Yeah.
The Legionella at the hospital. Now, the interesting note I saw that said the hospital has a gravity storage tank and booster pump system. So I assume they tested within the facility where they noted the Legionella. They didn't test the water going into the hospital from the town.
We tested that. And
But we haven't got the results for that yet.
Yeah, we tested. You get an initial result, which was fine. It was negative.
Okay.
The hospital test within their whole program.
Right, but that would be after they receive the town water into the storage tank, so it should be within their...
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right, thanks for that clarification. Another quick question on the Somerset County Dispatch software. So it sounds like our confusion and frustration was warranted, as the other towns are feeling the same kind of issues with that.
They're concerned. They knew more about what was going on, but they're still concerned about the bill. They need a bill that's broken down so that we
Yep.
can explain it like we do. Anybody needs to understand the bill, and why do we have to do this?
So the confusion of that meeting, that wasn't from the law enforcement generating it, was it from the company that, what was the name of the company that has that
It's Central
Central Square? So did Central Square run that meeting?
They were at the meeting and being asked questions by Somerset County, and then the town started asking them questions. The towns and the Somerset County asked them to come to a meeting to explain things out. The answers they gave were very general. They were not specific, and we did want some more specific information.
All right, thank you for that. And just one other thing, I appreciate the Public Works weekly report they have here. The other thing that's important that we show when these are done and completed. Well, please, all right, thank you for that. All right, let's move on to, that was a town manager report. We move on to old business. There is none. Let's move on to number 7, new business, resolution 22-45. Please, Catherine.
Resolution 22-45, resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to execute the sci-fi agreement number 2, 2022 to the police collective bargaining agreement expiring December 31st, 2022 for a signing bonus to recruit an officer for a vacancy.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 22-45.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. This resolution gives the authority to the town manager and the other 2 members of the negotiating committee, which is myself as mayor and Deputy Mayor Lodgedice, to start discussions on this, come up with the details, which will likely mirror the previous details from the previous negotiating committee. So it gives the council gives the approval for us to do that action. That's what this process is. Any questions? Council? Any questions? Anyone in the audience? Yes.
Heather Donahue, 461 Webb Road. Has the committee already met and come up with a negotiation that's been approved by the union, and then this is the council approving that agreement?
This is us going into that negotiation.
So this is the council approving, starting the negotiation?
This is the council
process?
going into that discussion.
Okay.
Any other questions? Council?
I have a question.
Yes.
But it might be just because I need more context
Yeah,
being
sure.
somewhat new. This is what's in the sidebar agreement is in our packet, and I kind of read through that. And so this is for us to be able to give that signing bonus. Is that right?
Yes.
Is the next position. How many vacancies are there currently in the police department? How many officers are we recruiting?
There
at
are
this
2
time?
officer vacancies, so this would be the second sidebar agreement. When we put in for the first one, we didn't realize there was going to be a second one, but the gentleman has paid back his signing bonus that he received because he didn't stay the entire year. There is another position that was approved that was never filled. It was like an additional position. So we have that one too.
We have Police Chief Vic Moore here. Good to see you, Chief. Thanks for showing up. Would you like to add anything, any clarification and details to that?
I could just echo what you've already said. There's the third position, which we still haven't filled yet, and this will be good for us for recruitment and to try to attract and retain qualified, experienced officers. That's what we're trying to get here, is experienced officers, as opposed to an officer who's never been to the academy. So this is a big step in that direction.
Thank you, Chief. Anything else, Council? Any other questions there? Lindsay? All set? Okay. All right, very well. Let's vote on Resolution 2245. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 22-45 passes. Catherine, let's move on to Resolution 22-46, please.
Resolution 22-46, resolved that the Town Council waives the bid policy, Chapter 2, Administrative Code, Section 106, regulation of bids and contracts, and authorize the Town Manager to execute the IT Managed Services Agreement for the nonprofit and municipalities with Technology Solutions of Maine and Winthrop in accordance with the fee schedule and police budget account funding.
All right, thank you, Catherine. I look for a motion from the council, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 22-46.
Second. Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. Catherine, do you have any details you would like to add to flesh this out?
Yes, Amy Kitchen, our administrative assistant for the police department, has been working on the computers, and it became clear that we needed to have some assistance with IT. And so she contacted a variety of companies, including the one that the town uses that never contacted her back, and several others that did not contact her back. She did get a proposal from Technology Solutions of Maine, which is the Winthrop Group. There's also the same company's name in Newport, but it is the group from Winthrop. She was very impressed with the quality of the application, how they answered the questions. They said they would work with the town. They didn't come in and say we need X, Y, and Z. They said that they would work with the police department.
All right, any questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Councilors, any questions or comments on that? Very well. Hearing none, since we're ready to vote on Resolution 22-46, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 22-46 passes. Let's move on to Resolution 22-47, please, Catherine.
Resolution 22-47, resolved that the town council accept the proposal of blank from blank in an amount not to exceed blank in response to the request for proposals for the 2022 road paving program, and authorize the town manager and public works director to negotiate with the company to add delete roads in accordance with council discussion as long as the total amount of the bid is not exceeded, and further at a later date with council approval, add additional mileage as agreed upon by the town council when funding becomes available, with such award to be made and the town standard services contract be executed by the town manager once the funds from the 2022 capital improvement plan CIP bond are received later in May 2022.
All right, I look for a motion from council, please.
I'll make a motion that we open for discussion resolution 22-47.
Second. Moved and seconded, thank you very much. I know we have a revised sheet that you handed out, Catherine, and if I
Yeah.
can put my hand on it here, I had it set right on the side so I can pick up real quick.
Yes,
I
we
must
have
be
done.
really good at filing.
Yes, we have Don Shute, our Public Works Director here this evening. We reviewed the bids, with some of the contractors that had bid. Also met with S&G for advice and their experience. They're not part of the bid process whatsoever, so they have some ideas as they get it down. And came up with the proposal that the low bidder around these paving would be disqualified. One, only part of the required bid form was submitted, so they just submitted the last two sheets and not the rest of the bid form, which was a requirement of the bid. We have had past issues with the former Public Works Director with the town's 2019 paving program in which the roads were not paved in a timely fashion. Multiple contacts had to take place, and a section of the Snake Root Road was never repaired, although we did save out money for that, as recommended by the prior Public Works Director. And three, the cost of overseeing the paving program would take some time and some cost because it would have to be overseen extensively. The next lowest bidder is Northeast Paving at $941,500.60. The required bid forms were submitted. The company representative indicated they would work with the town on the roads to be paved, as that was normal business practice to negotiate out the roads and make changes. And so Donnie is here to go into more detail.
Donnie, you want to provide some bullet points or some high points that we should be taking into account? Your
Well,
input or feedback?
Yeah,
on
well, I
this?
can give you a little bit of input.
Yeah, if you would,
Obviously, I met with Stan Kitchen, who's here tonight too, who's got many years of experience in paving. Since I'm kind of new with it. But, yeah, I think at some point, obviously, we're going, by my calculation, we're going up $72,497.20 above what the lowest bidder was. Couple of concerns. When Steve was here, he was the public works foreman. We did have quite an issue on the Snake Root Road with some of the things and getting things done in a timely fashion with the other paper company Roundy's. One of the things I estimate, I guess, is what we estimated was at least 300 or 400 tons that we were shorted on the asphalt pavement on just the Snake Root Road itself. We didn't have anybody out there taking slips. Obviously, it's on an honor system. They come in with tonnage slips. Nobody was designated to be out there to take those tonnage slips and make sure that when they're coming from the plant, they were ending up on our road and not on the driveway somewhere else or another project, which I thought was a little bit concerning as far as I'm concerned. We should have somebody out there. I felt I did some calculations. It was going to cost us at least $14,500 if we were going to take Roundy to have somebody out there the whole time during it. That's not counting our equipment. The other thing that concerned me is they did do a grind on that road. They did the grind that they were supposed to, and then I didn't know this, but Stanley filled in that the town took a bunch of gravel out there and took hundreds of yards of gravel at our cost and put them on top of the reclaim so we could even out the road and even put the pavement on it. So we incurred another expense with that. And another concern that I have is we require a performance bond. And anytime I've ever did something else, whether it be a fire truck or anything else, a performance bond is one of the most important things that the town can request to make sure that if they don't do the work right, that if we have to have them come back, we're not paying the price. They're insured to do that. And we got a check for $43,400 from Rowley Paving because they cannot secure performance bond, which kind of makes me a little nervous. To begin with. Northeast Pavement was formerly Lane. They bought out. They're a reputable company. They were cheapest per manhole cover, per catch basin by $500, $600, $700. They put a bid together, all the required sheets. Everything looks good, good pricing, and they're very flexible. There's been some discussion with maybe changing some of the roads and stuff, and as long as we keep the same lineal feet and stuff, we threw out there maybe doing part of the Mount Road. And Powers Road, we're going to do some ditching and some culverts out there. I think that would work a little bit. And of course, we have the Johnson Flat Road that's kind of up in the air. I'd like to turn that back to dirt after the bridge because it doesn't behoove us the way that condition is in that road. But I think we got some flexibility here. I think we got a reputable company. If we got the money and they're willing to do the job, we'll oversee them, obviously, and make sure that the stuff that needs to get done gets done. And I don't know if everybody is familiar with Lane. They're one of the two big ones. You've got Pike and Lane. B&B is another one that was a little bit more. They were $956, $766, and they're also a reputable company bonded, and they had good references as well. But I think it'd be the best interest of the town to go with Northeast Pavement.
All right, very good. Stan, appreciate you coming here, and can we pick your brain for a second? Anything you wanted to add to that? I know Donnie's a heck of a pupil.
Yeah, I sat with Donnie and Catherine. I picked up these streets, the ones I feel should be pulled out and put somewhere else. I don't think North Lansing should be in this. Not a big volume thing, but that's not that bad a street. I tried to get Lansing Street in, but I guess they got a problem with sewer or something. I don't know how to get it. That's a street all the buses go on every day, morning and evening. That's terrible. I mean, it's horrendous. In town road like that, but you can't walk on it. But I don't know what the problem is. If something's go pipe or sewer or something, I don't know what it is. And I don't. And another one was I pull out would be Nickel Street, but I guess they made a promise to the people there. They paid that. They had new sewer lines put in, and the trench has been paved. It's a lot better road to ride on than North Main Street is. They put new pipes in there. And then I had Chinket. It's the same situation as Nickel. They did a sewer project. They paved the trenches. Now they want to overlay to cover up the trench, I guess. I don't know. But we take the ones that I suggested that could be pulled out, you'd have quite a lot of over 3,000 ton mix. Over a third of the mix that the total mix come out to. And to be used on the Mountain Road, that's probably 800, 900 ton. If they reclaim it and do it, it's like 7/10 of a mile or less. They're than the Howard Road.
The Mount Road, you're talking all the way to the bridge.
Right. That's where the town line is.
Yeah.
The South
Right.
Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, but that's like going over the Webb Road. And I don't, the Berry Road, that one there, I feel that if they go up there and reset that culvert, do it properly, put some stone down on the base and backfill it with stone to the top of the culvert, it shouldn't move around like it does now. And patch the entrance to the street, to the road. Patch that back in and fix the entrance. And same thing on the Crawford Road. I don't think that should be done. And I paved that section from the intersection to the toe of the hill before you get to Young's. Then we jumped over 400 or 500 feet there. We did another 500 feet from Morton's to the gentleman who owns the trailers there. That section there was overlaid. So, I mean, that road could be gone for another year or so. And that saved us quite a lot of mix for all these other projects. Johnson Flat Road, it's a tough one. It's bad. And Powers Road, if you didn't have enough to do it all, it's a 2.2 miles. So even if you did half it, you'd get beyond if you started from Route 2, you could go probably 3/10, so beyond the, what's the other one?
Pool Road.
Pool Road. Yeah, you get beyond that. So if you get at least half the road done. But I know, I don't know what they're gonna actually decide. I had 3,500 ton plus deducted to add back on these other projects.
So let me ask a quick question, Catherine. So the suggestions that Stan are giving, it's very valuable to us. Do we have that? Yeah. My apologies if I haven't read through this. I don't have it on my screen properly. Has that list that he's talking about been in here? Do we have that documented that we as a council can review and make these decisions?
No, when we met with Stanley, we talked with him about, the Lancey Street was in there, but I was...
North Lancey, oh yeah, I just...
Yeah, Lancey was in there, that was the number one in town. However, there's issues underneath the road, it needs to be engineered, so it's not going to get paved with how backed up engineers are now, although we can try. North Lancey was put in there because there were concerns from all the businesses in that area, and there's several businesses the side of the road.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to talk, on a road by road basis and the particulars of why they should or shouldn't be on the list. I just wondered, as Donnie had mentioned, if we can get this bid, they would be susceptible to say, look, we really don't want to do this part of this street. We can do maybe another street, so that could be an option. If we do go with a low bidder on this one, will that be an option that we can discuss? It sounds like it's well worth a discussion.
There's some flexibility. When we met with Stanley, we agreed that the Crawford Road and the Berry Road, neither of those were supposed to be that much done. We were going to do the ends of those, so that saved some. But when Public Works went out and measured them, they thought more should be done. But we did promise, as we discussed at the meeting, we promised the funders that we would straighten out this trench paving, and we are audited on these, so we do need to take care of Nichols and Chincat. The others you can change around as much as you want.
Right. Will that be an issue with the low bidder if we do go northeast?
As long as we don't
If we start saying, well,
take the
tell you
whole
what,
bid of
we don't want to do this one, we want to do this one. The total length will be the same, the bottom line should be the same, it may be in a different location.
And the money's the same, you know, they don't want to
Okay.
they're bidding on a price.
They
We would come in and do
said
half of that
we
and say.
just don't
we're
want to
not-
move it, so
wait,
the roads
we just
are all
come in-
spread.
Right, no, I understood, and that's what I'm talking about, have them on, on Sidley Pond Road, and that, no, we got something going on North Main Street and Madawaska Road. We can't do that.
And it wasn't so
Yes.
confusion.
If I could say, I'm sure there's not going to be any problem dealing with these people, but what they're doing, they're gaining themselves too. They won't be doing short dead-end streets and like that. They're like doing like on the Powers Road. They sit right there and do that in no time. No, and plus the Mount Road, just a minute, take them longer to grind it and grade it and go pave it. And I'm sure they just soon get rid of some of these other short streets to do that.
Yep, understood, I agree, thank you for that. So if we do go with the, and Donnie, maybe you can answer this for me, if we do go with a little bit, let's call it northeast, when would you expect us to have that conversation? Well, now that we have the contractor in place, the PO signed, now we want to talk about if we want to change this street to this street. I assume that conversation needs to happen with
Yeah,
the,
well,
we got to stand, thank you for that.
We could have Stan come in, we could sit there and talk about it, even with Catherine, we could have him come in before, we could have him come in.
We would do it before.
So they would be aware that that's an option that we would want to talk to them about?
Yeah,
It's not going to be a surprise to them?
No, it wouldn't be a surprise,
Okay,
if
all right.
possible.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for the input, Stan, appreciate it, thank you for coming. Anyone else in the audience, have anything they want to bring up, discuss, questions? Well, counsel? Yes, Jason?
So tonight, we're just really approving who's doing the paving.
Yes.
But it's going to come back to us, whatever Catherine, Donnie, and possibly Stan decide with
Likely-
that company.
Likely it will be.
It's still coming back to us to finalize what is being approved, what roads are being approved.
We'll bring back what the proposal
Yes.
ends up being, so you can look at it.
And what if we say, you know, we don't necessarily agree, or we agree to this part, but not this part? Do we have say in that?
Well, of course, that's part of the process, but we have a, essentially a volunteer gentleman.
Well, no, obviously that's, yeah, obviously we're gonna.
No, right, the process is going to be same on
trying to understand
anything else. that
what the
comes back.
who gets the final verdict on,
That, right
on
here.
what's being paved, what's not being
That'll be in
paved.
this room, based on suggestions
We'll
from the
bring it
experts.
back and
Right.
and
That
figure
wouldn't
out what
change
you
the
want.
cost, you know.
Right, it doesn't change the
We
cost.
just want to make sure that, and it will, because
Right.
we're going to change, because this is the ones that we bid out.
Right.
road. So you
Right.
guys would have to reapprove if we change one section to another section.
Right, because there's certain things, like we're doing the Webb Road from the Berry to the end, but I also think from the Crawford Road to the railroad tracks is awful on the Webb Road.
Yeah.
So like, that's some of the things where
I see it.
they were all on the Webb Road already, they don't have to move, all around, they're right there, just make the Webb Road halfway decent.
I think
all
the
the way
Webb
through.
Road from the Crawford Road to the Berry Road several years ago, and that's
Yeah.
staying fairly decent.
Yeah, that's not bad, I'm saying from the Crawford to
They
the
got a problem with
railroad.
the culvert on from the Route 100 up through.
Right,
to the
right, that section there is fairly dangerous, which you just,
Culvert is gone.
you just
flat.
replace holes that are a foot and a half deep in the middle of the road. It's
Unfortunately, there's
So we
a lot of
wanted
roads
to
that
get
that.
Yes.
who is going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
the
so-
contractor.
Yes.
no, that's good. Thanks.
Anything else, council?
We need to add money to this. I mean, it's probably a separate deal, but if the town's going to expend money managing the project, do we need to put our own money? We need to add money to the package for that?
So that, there would likely, if we went with certain contractors, there would be more of a cost involved than if we went with other contractors. So we'll look that over. But we still, when John Dixon was here as the highway foreman, we always had somebody out getting the slips and checking on things. And we should do that, just to help out the contractor too. So that would be within the public works budget, so we wouldn't have to add it.
So,
It
Donnie,
just means something else
I'm
would be
sorry.
done.
Could you clarify that, was it 14,000 in some change? Was that based on rounding?
That was-
Having to provide our personnel to monitor rounding?
The round, yeah, and that would be our use of gas back and forth, that was figuring an engineering cost. If we had to have an engineer sit up, it's $50 an hour. So if they're gonna be there for 40, 50, 60 hours a week for 5
Right,
weeks.
so the reason we don't need it for the others is that it's included in there?
Correct, because we're basically gonna have somebody there. We have, our mechanic is also very good with equipment, Brian at the
Yeah.
garage, and he used to work for Pike. And you see the difference because he came out here when we did the paving last year. He can look at it, he can tell a shim, they don't have to bore a core and do that. He's done it before. But if you've got somebody that's there that knows what's going on, they're not, right Stanley? They're not
Yeah.
gonna short you. They're
Right,
not-
no, I get that, I just want to make sure that we're covered on the costs here. Eric, does that answer your question? Because I was
It does.
concerned about that
And I-
cost too.
and
I
I
think regardless of who does the paving, I think it's in the town's best interest to have someone out there all the time that knows what they're
Right,
talking
and
about
that's-
anyway. I mean,
and that's
if
We're taking the tickets and they.
And that's basically
loads. I mean, it's
If it's not going to be Dean, it's going to be Ryan. It's going to be one or the other. And the other issue is too, and we talked about this with Stanley, there are some possibilities if we get him here too, that we're good on our sand, we made sure that we got it at a good price, we got a bunch of stuff, so maybe we have some money for some gravel money, maybe a little sand money. While they're here, maybe we can find something there, maybe to do a short section or something that needs to get done while they're already here too, but that would be out of my actual operating budget, not out of.
Biggest problem was on the Snakewood Road was they're supposed to be 19 millimeter, which is a 3/4 inch binder.
Yeah.
They put a surface on it for an inch and a half.
Yeah.
So that's why it's the 4,500 ton light. And that's why, because it took a half inch right off it.
right.
Plus, they graded the road in the town, they had to take gravel out to put a crown back in the road so we could pave it.
Anything else, sir? Good with that?
I'm good with it. Yeah.
All right. Yes, Lindsay.
With like you spoke about Lancey Street having a sewer problem, is there been a crosswalk done with the roads that are up for proposal against the sewer project? Because there's a whole other body of work, right, that needs to be done with the water and sewer in the town, so that we're not paving roads and then having to go and dig. That's being checked, right?
That's why
before
Lancey
it's-
Street was taken off, the others are all fine.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we're
And
juggling
Lancey-
roads
I know there's a lot going on, so it'd be easy for one to get on the
6
list and
years
not.
now, I think.
Yeah, Lancey should not have been an issue because it was reconstructed in 2001 and engineered, so it should not be in the condition it's in now, unfortunately.
Yes, there.
Have they been to the length or been to the next? So is it by the, so they bid it by the ton? They run out of tonnage.
If
What the
you
roads
had-
are.
you follow me, it said what type of mix to use.
Right.
19 on, that, all the roads they're reclaiming should be putting on at least a 2-inch base,
Okay.
19 millimeter.
Okay.
And they've got some roads they're just gonna grind
Yep.
an inch and a half, whatever, and put an inch and a half on top of that, they take mill off, they're gonna
Right.
mill it. So
Yeah.
that'd be a 12.5.
You mentioned that Chinket and Nichols couldn't be taken off because of the trench paving?
Well, we promised our funders that we would take care of these and pave over it. So this is something that is in the records that we said we would do. They're the only roads that are left that had the trench paving when we had the 2009 through 2012 USDA big grant and loan.
Sure.
So we're supposed to fix these.
And North Main Street is separate from that?
That would be correct. Yes, that was a different grant, different
That's state.
requirements.
No, that's a state from
That's
from
a state.
the section up there.
That's state road.
We only had the trench paving.
Holy
that's it.
Moses.
I've been advocating pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like we did with the overlay out here. I've been
That's god awful.
Calling, and I told them.
That's a little battle Oscar as well.
Yes, and that's why I said, but this is how we got
Yeah.
Main Street, is I had hundreds of people calling me every day over at the Plymouth Garage and talking to John, the engineer over there. And after a while, we get sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
So I've done the same thing
Okay.
here on North Wall.
I thought it was
At
a
Oscar,
road, but
call.
I'm sure.
If anybody's in this room, call them once a day. Just remind them that, hey, that road's bad. You know what, we're sick of driving over it. It's a short section there.
State's
State's
gonna have to rebuild Vasco Street because they use that still, that road there in Waverly.
Yeah, like that's another guy, most Vasquez Street's that shit too.
Anything else, council? All right, so before we can vote on this, there's a outstanding motion that we set this to discussion. We have done so, it really doesn't require a vote. We can request that that motion is rescinded, and we can put in a new motion to accept with this resolution with the proper data for the lowest bidder in place there.
I'll move that we rescind the motions for the open discussion for 2247 and make a motion that we adopt resolution 2247 with the proposal of northeast paving from Bangor, Maine in the amount not to exceed $941,500.60.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussions on this, council.
Well, we approved $1 million. Do we just tell them that that's what they can't go over?
We're gonna need
This-
culverts and gravel, so
Oh, okay.
this is the price, and then we'll be back with
Oh,
the roads and how it worked out, and
Okay.
then Donnie's looking at his budget for additional funds, so there might be more
Okay.
that's available because of the sand piles.
No, I'm good. Okay, thanks.
Very well. Anything else, council? Very well, hearing none, since we're at the vote, all those in favor of resolution 22-47 as noted, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, resolution 22-47 passes as noted. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Stan.
Stanley, thank you for your information, greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, have a good night. So, Captain, let's move on to resolution 22-48.
Resolution 22-48, resolved that the town council sign the application for a special case testing event license for the Main Cheese Festival to be held on Sunday, September 11, 2022, from 11 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. at Manton Park.
I look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion we adopt resolution 22-48.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone in the audience wishes to speak? Please, Heather.
So I stand before you as a member of the board of directors of the Maine Cheese Guild. This event is our annual fundraiser that funds our educational programming as well as the operations of the guild for promotion of local agriculture, Maine cheesemakers, as well as supporting local dairy farms. This is an event that this would be the third year that it would be here in Pittsfield. It's our 6th annual, minus 2020. We're not going to talk about that. We've had it in previous areas, twice at a winery at Sweetgrass Winery in Union, once down at Wolf's Neck Farm, and then we moved it up here so that we could have more room in order to grow the event. This year we're looking at having about 40 to 48 vendors, and we're going to try and push our attendance to about 1,600 people. So we're looking for your support and permission to have the event here. We hear a lot of wonderful things about people coming and appreciating the town and kind of discovering Pittsfield because they haven't been up here before, or they've just driven through on the interstate and not actually stopped and get off to enjoy our beautiful little town. So that's pretty much the event, and we're just seeking permission to have our event again here this year.
All right, thank you, Heather. That must be generating quite a buzz 3 years in a row.
Yeah, it's, the vendors, we did post attendee surveys to people, the ticket holders last year, as well as our vendors. And overall, we had very, very positive feedback of the event space itself, the park and the town. And people enjoyed it very much.
Good, excellent. Any other questions, comments from the audience?
I just have a question. How many? You said you had over 40 vendors that will come. Is that right?
Last year we did not have as many vendors. We kind of got caught up in a couple things, being the first year after COVID started, and then the Common Ground Fair canceled. Like 2 weeks, it was a month before their event, but it was only 2 weeks to 10 days before our event, and it kind of scared people, and a lot of our vendors pulled out. So we had a smaller event last year. This year we're hoping to kind of recapture all those vendors that were not able to come last year for whatever reason, and push our vendor attendance up to 50 vendors again.
What does a vendor need to do to be a part of it? Like, what's the process? Can they just sign up, or is it a fee, or how does that work?
There is a fee for the booth spaces. I have vendor applications that I can send out to people. My information's on the information there. It's also, we sent out our first press release last week, maybe a week and a half ago. So the information's out there, as well as on the Cheese Guild website, so maincheeseguild.org. And so just reach out to me. Basically, our vendors consist of cheesemakers, food items that go well with cheese, like crackers, charcuterie, jams, jellies, chutneys, pickles, things like that. Other vendors like food trucks. We're going to try and have about 9 food trucks this year. More people, we need more food trucks. And then really focus on increasing the experience around our beer and wine tent area. We're adding a second music stage, because you can't, the way it's set up, you can't really hear the music because the main stage is like focused out over the park. And so the alcohol tent is along the river and you can't really hear the music. So we're going to have a second set of musicians. We're going to have a morning and an afternoon session that worked really well for people management and the number of cars coming in. So we're going to do that and try and kind of expand that area, try and attract more of the beer wine vendors to come. But yeah, so that's kind of like, we have a little bit of craft vendors, but it's like pottery, goat milk soaps, things that kind of go along well with cheese. So vendors along those lines, but it's not necessarily like handcrafts and things like that. Thanks.
I like the band names, Susie and the Smelts.
Susie and the Smelts. Last year it was just the Smelts because Susie was traveling, but this year we get Susie.
So they delineated, huh?
Yeah.
And Rough Song, those are good
Rough
Cheese
Song,
Guild names, aren't they?
Yep, Rough Song came in 2019 and they were a huge hit. They were not, one of the guys had a baby last year, so he wasn't able to they weren't together doing music stuff yet. And I emailed them back in January, said, so hey, are you ready to come back? And they're really excited to come back. And
Excellent.
They're a great group of guys.
Good, good. I hope it keeps growing. Anything else, council? Very good. Hearing none, the ready to vote. All those in favor of approving resolution 22-48, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 22-48 passes. Catherine, let's move on to resolution 22-49.
Resolution 22-49, resolve that the town council approve the public exhibition permit and the special amusement permit for the Main Cheese Festival to be held on Sunday, September 11, 2022, from 11 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. at Manson Park.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 22-49.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions or comments? Nothing else to provide other than what you already gave to us?
Yeah, I would just say everything I already said applies to
Okay.
this resolution as well. This is for the actual event itself. The previous one was so that we could have the alcohol permit through the state, and that's the special form that you need to sign that I send into
Right.
the state with all of the section 3 forms from the vendors.
You notice in the package, Counselor, all the documents and permits and applications are in there. Is there any questions? Any questions or comments from council? Very well. Hearing none, I sense ready to vote. All those in favor of resolution 22-49, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Resolution 22-49 passes. Let's move on to resolution 22-50, please, Catherine.
Resolution 22-50, resolve that the town council appoint members to fill the vacancies on the various town boards and committees.
I'll look for a motion from the council, please.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 22-50.
Second. All right, moved and seconded. Thank you, gentlemen. So if we're looking at the package here, is it 50, sheet number 57? Is that the list of the personnel, Catherine? Yes, it is. In the package?
All right, I have it divided out by
It is.
package number.
Yep.
Okay.
57.
There we go. Now I rotated it. So we have Mr. David Ross for the Airport Committee. It's a 3-year appointment. Mr. David Quint for the Board of Appeals, 3-year appointment. Mr. David Reynolds for the Board of Appeals, 3-year appointment. Mr. Robert Stackhouse for the Personal Appeals Board, 3-year appointment. Corey Verrill on the Planning Board, 4-year appointment. J. Michael Braley on the Board of Ethics, a 3-year appointment. Robert Stackhouse on the Cemetery Trustees, a 3-year appointment. And the ad hoc committee is Mr. Michael Gray on the Main Street CDBG Advisory Committee, and that will be for the length of the project. Any questions or comments from the audience on this? Anything from the council? Okay, so the vote would be approving the list of these people for the committees and the proposed appointments. Any comments on that? Very well. Hearing none, I sense we're all ready to vote. All those in favor of Resolution 2250 to reflect the appointment of the people listed, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. That list has been approved for appointment. So we have number 9, executive session. Before we move into that, which will be the last of this evening, let's go to reports for the audience and council, and then we shall go into the executive session. So I will start with the audience. Anyone in the audience has anything they'd like to bring up, discuss? Chief, good to see you, please.
I want to thank everybody on the town council and the town manager for all the support that you've given me for the last few months during my personal issues with my medical. And it's greatly appreciated from me and my family, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank Chimbro and Mark Brooks. The video that he did was outstanding, and it put a pretty big smile on my face back a month or so ago. So Mark Brooks is the best, and I appreciate everything. I also want to recognize Marty Cochran, my sergeant who's been acting chief, been doing a great job with a little training and guidance, and also Amy Kitchen, she's our administrative assistant. She's been doing an excellent job, and basically, got hired, and I was out the following week, so she's done a great job. I also want to thank my officers, the boots on the ground. They're doing a great job. And they're solid, and they're doing the best they can. Which reminds me, we're going to be going to 10-hour shifts, and we're not going to have coverage. We did this last year. We won't have coverage from 2 in the morning until 6 a.m. So we're working hard to try to identify qualified officers who are certified officers to try to attract and retain these type of officers, so we don't have to put them through the academy. So that's basically it. But I just want to thank everybody in the room and the public. I've got a tremendous amount of support from the town and people, the citizens in the town, business leaders, and everybody. And it's well appreciated by my family and myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else in the audience have anything they'd like to bring up? Yes, Heather, please.
I just want to thank you for your support for the Cheese Festival. It means a lot to our organization, as well as I think it's a very good type of event to attract people to the town of Pittsfield and show them what the town has to offer. So thank you.
No, thank you very much for that, Heather. I'm enthused that it's 3 years running, momentum's building. That will be a significant item we'll be talking about in the next 5, 10, 15 years, I hope.
You can be a cheese fairy this year. You keep telling me.
I've been saying that every year, I
You
know.
do. You always come up with some excuse.
I'll tell you what, let me check my schedule. I owe you, but let me check, and I will get back to you, I promise. Okay? But I'll make a commitment that I'll hold this time instead of just.
All right. I
You kind of put me on the spot, but I do have history, so thank you very much. So we'll start with the council then. Councilor Holmstrom, anything you'd like to bring up?
No, I'm good right now. Thank you, though.
All right, very good. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Lodgedice.
I have no report, but it's good to see Chief out.
All set?
Yeah.
Very good. Councilor Juster.
I just want to thank Donnie and Stan for coming in and providing their expertise and giving us some good perspective on the projects coming up. And good to see the chief with us tonight. That's about it.
I agree. Councilor Saucier?
Yeah, it's good to see Chief back. I also want to recognize the rec department as a whole. Been down to the park a lot, watching a lot of games, and the uniforms look awesome. The kids that are bouncing around. I think Jake's doing an awesome job with the kids, and he's taking it all in stride. And I'm proud to see the direction it's headed. There's a lot of effort there by a lot of people. Lindsay knows that firsthand, and it's great to see there's companies stepping forward to help. Get the money in the right spot to help these volunteers that are putting days, nights, weekends, blood, sweat, and tears into all this program for the kids, which is the future of the town. It's money well spent, there's no doubt. And I just want to thank everyone that's part of it, and we're headed in the right direction. Looks good.
All right, thank you, Eric. I will say, and I wasn't never a big fan of living right in the middle of town, but it's one thing I do miss. Watching those games. I can sit on my front lawn and watch those games, so I do miss that. But I'm still good with living on the lake. Councilor Hall, please.
I have no report. Just good to see Chief back. Donnie, I appreciate your work on the paving program, and looking forward to the Cheese Festival again. It's always a good turnout. So,
All set?
yep.
All right, I'll be very brief. First and foremost, Chief, good to see you here. Really good to see you. I'm glad that you're up and around. And, we missed you, and we'd like to see you back in the saddle full time. But you take care of yourself first, and then you come take care of us, okay? Thank you very much for coming. Everyone else showing up, Donnie, appreciate it. I know we got a whole stand for him left. That was a good resource to have there, so thank you very much. And it sounds like you got your head wrapped around that pretty good, so appreciate that. And as always, Heather, I'm enthused with the Cheese Guild that they have, and I'd like to see it more and more and more get bigger and bigger. That could be a staple in this town. So thank you very much for that. One more thing I want to say. May 19th, 6:30, SAD 53 Warsaw Gym, the budget meeting. I know there have been issues or questions or concern about the removal of the SRO position, so anyone's listening out there in TV land, anyone who reads papers or who is aware of these meetings, please make yourself available to go. They don't usually have a big turnout. I'd like to see that place filled. The time to complain about it is not in June when we vote on it, it's before. So anyone who's listening, please make it a point to go there. So that's all I have, and I will look for a motion to go into executive session, please.
Make a motion that we go move to executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Very well, we are in executive session. Thank you all very much for coming. Catherine, before you leave, if you could shut the Zoom down and
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
the overhead camera, please.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
takes a few minutes. but
Yep, no worries.
The other will go quickly.
Yep. So that gives us a couple minutes before then while we shut down.
Table.
I will squeeze it.
What's the money? What's that position worth?
I can't.
Is it $50 a year? Or?